Okay, so pranks and jokes are very common throughout, the universe, I would say. But I remember this one specific time back when I was in high school that made me question everything I had about my crush. But today's story does get really awkward and really weird, so my opinion, leave a like and subscribe, or this could happen to you. And on top of that, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys do join me live on Kick streaming, telling crazy stories just like this one. But other than that, let's just jump straight into this insane story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane video. So today's video starts back all the way when I was in grade 11. Now in grade 11, there's a lot of different things I want to do. For example, I want to hit the gym more, I want to be more athletic, but one thing I realized that for some reason girls liked a lot was swimmers. Now swimmers naturally have like a really good body tone and body mass, and one thing I thought that would help me get more girls was becoming a swimmer. So I remember I ended up going to my parents that week when I found out about this really interesting information about women and asked them if I could become a swimmer. My parents thought it was a cool idea that I wanted to do activities outside of playing video games for the rest of my life because, well, even though I still do that, it became something, I guess. But at the same time, my parents thought it would be a good idea for me to become a swimmer. So I remember my parents ended up signing me up for the aquatic center that we have down here in Vancouver. And basically, I ended up taking swimming lessons. Now, the reason I chose this swimming center specifically was because a lot of girls actually go there and swim. So I thought it'd be a good idea to start, going there. Now, I remember I was super excited the day of my first swimming lesson. And I was so excited to the point where I thought I was like gonna be able to pull all the girls I wanted. But I remember when I actually got to the pool, there was one girl there that I fell in love with. Well, I mean, I was already in love with her technically. Well, I mean, I had a crush on her. Love is a really strong word. But I remember when I saw her, I was super like ecstatic. And the reason I was excited is because if she saw me swimming at the pool, becoming a swimmer, maybe it would give me a chance to, like get with her. You know what I mean? Like kind of like, form that connection that we need to like, rizz up the girls. So I remember at that moment, I ended up getting my swim trunks on and I bought like some nice Lululemon swim shorts just so I could, make sure I fit the part of being a cool swimmer. And when I ended up going to the pool, I ended up basically waiting in the pool, waiting for my lesson. There were a bunch of different people there, guys and girls, of course, because, I went there to meet chicks. So obviously I'm going to take a guys and girls course. And then I remember right as we were waiting for the teacher, I was looking around seeing where my high school crush was, because obviously my high school crush was at the pool and I saw her in a swimsuit. So why wouldn't she be there? And then that's when I realized she ended up coming out with a whistle around her neck. And that's when I realized she was our teacher. Now I was super embarrassed and I was like, there's no way this girl like actually works at like the swimming pool and is my teacher. At first I was kind of like, oh, like this is gonna be really awkward. But then I thought, hey, maybe if I tried really hard to be a teacher's pet, she'll be interested in me. I remember when she got to the pool and started like, taking attendance, she was actually really surprised to see me at the pool. She was like, oh, Bubba, you're here? What are you doing here? Oh, I'm just trying to become like, a cool swimmer, I guess, like a really awesome swimmer. Oh, do you have like any experience? Yeah, I've swam here and there, I've been to some lakes and stuff. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, just doing my thing. I'm not gonna lie to you, I really tried my hardest to play it cool, but in reality, I sounded like an absolute douche. I remember from there, she ended up working with like a lot of different people, and me, since I tried so hard, wouldn't actually like come around and help me for some reason, which I found very odd. So if she didn't want to help me because I was trying too hard, I thought it'd be a good idea to try less hard and act like a total struggle so that she would decide to help me more. So I ended up basically like pretending I couldn't swim and, basically tried struggling and, basically almost pretended to drown. It's got to that point. And I was super embarrassed, but at the same time, the fact that she would come near me and like touch me, like it got me excited. And obviously I'm not gonna lie to you, I ended up actually kind of getting bricked in the pool and she noticed it. I know she did. There's no way she didn't notice it when she was like trying to make me balance on my like back. Like that like swim move where it's like you like lay down and like you're floating on the water. Yeah, let's just say when my like legs went up, so did my eggplant. But that's not the point. Going on though, I remember when she saw that, she was actually like kind of like eyes wide open, but then she ended up telling me, okay, I think you got this, and ended up going to another chick that needed help as well. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, that was really embarrassing, but I think the story gets even more sus after that, because I remember after swim class that day, I ended up basically going to the change room, and I actually ended up, getting my bag and everything ready, and obviously I wanted to get showered and changed. But when I was taking a shower, I remember like in the middle of my shower, I ended up hearing someone go into the shower room that I was in and like ruffled a few things and then leave. Now at this point, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was happening. And I remember when I looked outside, I saw my bag was still there, but it was open. And that's when I decided to get my towel on and see what was missing from my bag. When I was looking around, I saw that nothing important was missing. Like my wallet was there, my keys were still there, but then I ended up realizing that my underwear was gone. Now this made me like really sussed out, because who in the world would take my underwear? Like out of all things, like it was my underwear, and it was my used underwear too. It wasn't like a fresh pair of boxers. So I found that super weird, and I was was kind of like, what in the world is going on? And that's when I kind of just ended up being kind of like weirded out and really sussed out about the place. But obviously, did that mean I was gonna stop swimming? No. Honestly, who cares? I lost a pair of boxers. It was used. I don't care. I remember 2 days went by and I ended up going back to my next swimming lesson. When I went there, I remember I was really excited and I saw my crush and we were doing like laps around the pool and stuff. And I was, dude, I'm not joking. Like I could be an Olympic swimmer. Like I was swimming so fast. Like Usain Bolt couldn't even catch me. Even though he runs on land, I guess, you know, that was a dumb example. But going on though, I remember from there, I was like really impressing my crush. And I remember it got to the point where my crush ended up walking up to me saying, oh, Bubba, like you're doing so good. Like good job. And I was super happy when she complimented me. Anyways, I remember after my swimming lessons, I ended up basically going to my change room once again. And I ended up, you know, jumping into the shower with my bag outside my shower. And out of nowhere, I heard the same thing again. Someone went into my bag and stole my underwear. Now at this point, I was actually like really upset. I was like, there is no way someone stole my underwear again. Like, is this a prank? Is this a joke? And I thought who would do this? But the only other person that actually knew me at that swimming class was, well, the teacher, which was my high school crush. So at this point, my mind was blown. I'm like, okay, something's going on here. This is not cool. Like, this is just annoying me at this point. So I remember afterwards, I ended up going commando and ended up walking up to my crush, fully changed and out of the shower. And when I walked up to her, I said, hey, listen, like, I know you're teaching another class soon, but I'm just wondering, like, do you know who, like, would steal underwear here? She looked at me and started giggling, and she's like, someone's stealing your underwear? At that point, I was super embarrassed to say yes and stuff, but at the same time, like, I actually really wanted to know. And apparently, she had no idea what was going on and kind of usually always dodged the question when I would ask her. Anyways, knowing that she, like, didn't give me a straight answer and just ended up questioning why my underwear would get stolen, I ended up just giving up and I ended up going home that day. I ended up explaining to my parents what was happening, but my parents thought it was like a joke that was going around at the swimming pool. But I don't know, I found it annoying. Anyways, I remember weeks passed and my underwear got stolen more than 4 times at that point. I was super upset, super annoyed, but then I remember in the beginning, my swimming teacher, aka my high school crush, wouldn't really notice me and stuff like that until weeks went by. She actually started like really noticing me, and it got to the point where she was actually flirting with me, complimenting me. And I remember one time when we were actually like doing like a swimming lesson, she ended up touching my eggplant. Like, I'm not joking, like she groped my eggplant out of nowhere. Now at this point, I was sussed out. I was like, okay, something's wrong here. I don't get it. Is she interested in me? Is she not? But honestly, I wasn't complaining because obviously it was my crush. But obviously the underwear thing kept going. My underwear got stolen at that point more than 6 times over the past like 2 weeks. And it was getting super annoying, and I was really annoyed and upset to the point where I thought of a brilliant idea. And that was to set up a trap to see who was stealing my underwear. So I remember I ended up basically after practice that day, I ended up saying goodbye to my crush and I ended up going to go take a shower. When I went to go take a shower, I remember I kind of like peeked through the peek hole a little bit and still had my pants on so I could see who would walk in and I could just catch them on the spot. I ended up waiting there more than 5 minutes until I realized my high school crush, aka my swimming teacher, ended up walking in there and actually going through my bag. At that point, I jumped out of the shower and I'm like, what are you doing here? And that's when I saw her red-handed with my red pair of underwear, funny enough, holding my underwear saying, I was just making sure your underwear wasn't getting stolen. That's when I looked at her and asked her, were you stealing my underwear? She ended up coming closer to me and she like started touching my chest and she's like, yeah, I don't know, like just really cute. Instead of getting upset with her, I decided to just basically do what I do best, and we did the devil's tango. That's literally what happened. I don't know how else to explain it. She came on to me and I thought it was a good idea because why not? Why not do it at the swimming pool? So we ended up doing the devil's tango. And like, I want to say like 20 minutes later, me and her both like came out of the shower together, and yeah, let's just say her boss was outside the men's change room that she walked into, and she ended up getting in trouble and they ended up separating us from her being my teacher. It kind of sucked, but at the same time, hey, at least I learned pretty good lessons about swimming. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's story. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I always say, just fall for more embarrassing stories. Like, just do it. Anyways, peace out, guys.